All right. Anybody watching the recording this is a live conversation that is a mastermind and accountability meeting for Darren Hardy's Hero Journeys program. And I, as leader of the mortgage coach community, I'm always looking to elevate the loan officers in our community. And when I say elevate, like help them become better leaders, help them become better at creating content and media that helps them as leaders in their local communities. So that's really my Darren Hardy why. I'm also a big fan of Darren's. I've been through a lot of his programs. I mean, just about all of his virtual programs. I created a Insane Productivity for loan officer program back in the day. And then I've known Darren for 20 years before he was Darren Hardy, the influencer. Him and I, we've got a history together. And I would just say one thing, Darren, if you end up seeing this, like who he is on stage is who he is off stage. Like very congruent as the leader, the author, the man on stage is just same dude off stage. Now, with that said, guys, I put this together really for you to network with people that are mortgage professionals. So most of you are users of Mortgage Coach. Katie is on the Mortgage Coach team, but she invested on her own. So Katie, great job for investing in yourself.
Thank you.
And then Tim Lamb is a red belt in Mortgage Coach. He's done over 1,000 TCAs. What's up, Tim?
Hello, Mr. Savage.
Yeah, and not only that, but what are you, the president of Iowa Bankers now? What are you doing to give back?
I'm president of the Iowa Mortgage Association. Yep.
Yeah. So thanks for being a leader in your local community. Brian Covey is a regional leader, not just a regional leader, but like the best regional leader for Loan Depot, one of the country's absolute #1 recruiters, and one of the best influencers in mortgage. Got a great YouTube, got a great IG account. Like, dude, how many followers do you have on IG?
That's from soccer and others. It doesn't really, they're not mortgage people, but we crossed 100,000. So I got the gold balloons.
He's a former professional soccer player. So he's a great athlete, great mortgage guy. And then Pinky, you and I think, have an interview next week, right?
Yes, I'm excited.
I am excited too. So it'll be my first time getting to know you better. But to me, you're someone that's active in our Facebook group. I can't remember exactly how many total cost analysis you've created, but I know you're a black belt, right?
Yeah, 400, 500, I don't remember.
Wow.
Yeah. So black belt on her way to being a red belt and investing in herself. And I'm really looking forward to get to know you better. And then Dawn Shabaran is the head of sales for Mortgage Coach. Her title is VP of Strategy, but she anything that has to do with growing Mortgage Coach, getting new brands like Loan Depot to join us. Dawn runs all of our sales team and drives marketing strategy. What's up, Dawn? Dawn doesn't know how to use her mute button yet.
Muted.
I'm teasing with you, Dawn. She's a varsity
Hi
player.
there. Nice to meet you. I appreciate the time with y'all. I hope just want to learn and be a sponge to everything that you're learning at the same time that I am.
Yep. So guys, this is for you. I'm going to start it off and help moderate it, but you guys want to ask each other questions, feel free, interrupt each other. But my hope is that it just makes what you're doing with Darren more valuable to you as a mortgage professional. And then my goal is this little tribe within Mortgage Coach that's doing this. It makes some new friends that help each other outside of this. Like new friends are created, and there are about 5 other people that couldn't make this time, but they'll be listening to the recording and they'll probably be at future events. So keep in mind there's a Hero's Journey tribe within Mortgage Coach of about 15, and so FYI. So with that said, let's just go around and see where everybody's at with the program and what questions you might have for the group. We'll start with you, Brian, because I know you can handle it.
Oh yeah, why not, man? We'll jump in. So thank you, one, for the invite. It's been great to listen in. It's almost just sometimes in your life you need a different voice, and I found like Darren, I followed him, but I wasn't near as close as you were, and so just hearing some of the things that he shared wasn't so much the new information, but reaffirming some things that I need to work on myself with leadership and communication. But also I'm very passionate trying to build up. We've got a lot of young leaders on our team, and I'm working through this partially for me, but really as an avenue to take topics and ideas back to our team and to stay relevant with them and just to grow and learn. So I'll tell you, I didn't make this week's, I've got it for the recording, but I made the other two. And some things that I'm learning is, one, the time, just blocking it off and being there and taking some notes during the live. I like Darren's style. That's one thing I will say, is what you said earlier, what you get on stage, what you get off stage. I resonate with that frequency and what he's sharing and his energy. So that has been good. You know, we went back and asked our team as a takeaway from that. I wanted to learn more about our group. So one takeaway I did, it wasn't necessarily recommended. We had everybody take the Enneagram. So if you're not familiar with it, some of you probably are. And we're going through that. And we actually have a coach that's going to go through, because we're disconnected in the sense of, we are probably not getting together in the first quarter in person. It's probably not happening with our team. So over the 8 states and all the different leaders, we have 3 leaders that I've never actually met. I've only met them on camera. And so we're trying to figure out, how do we connect and bring in some fun to this and learn about each other. So there's some things that just reminded me the power of connection and the consistency of Darren being there, you know, every Tuesday and that. So Dave, that's what I'd say is like high level. Nothing's completely revolutionized my thinking, but it's focus time that I know for me every week, I get an injection of leadership that I get to then pour back into the team.
What is
Love
that?
that.
Ideogram? What was that? I'm going to make a note of that. What is that?
Enneagram. And I can send it over to Dave. I can put it in here.
When you're not talking, throw it into chat. And anybody that's listening to this, I'm going to have these transcribed. And so when we put this into our YouTube channel, I am going to make them public, because, you know, that is my goal. Like, this is the first time I've promoted this program of Darren's in the mortgage coach community. But when he opens it up again, I'm going to promote it in a bigger way. And so I want loan officers to know that, hey, there's this Darren Hardy Hero's Journey program that you should put on your bucket list for 2021. So guys, in the show notes, you're watching this in YouTube, there'll be a link to the transcription and a link to anything that comes up as a resource, guys. All right, so Pinky, what about you? What was your why for doing the program, and what are some of your takeaways so far?
So I'm in a little bit of a different role, I think, than the others here. I lead a small team. I'm a loan officer, and I've got a small team, and my goal is to be a better leader to them and better retention when it comes to that. My struggles leading up to this point have been in retaining a good team. So that's what prompted me to do this. Is I want to create an environment that really people love to be a part of, that they're inspired by the mission of what I'm looking to accomplish here and what we want to serve to the community. And I want to really be able to deliver that and give them a place where they can fulfill on their personal goals, as well as the goals of our team. So that's what brought me to this program. So leadership is one of my key metrics that I'm looking to really develop better in myself this year in 2021.
And real quick, just for anyone that listens to the recording and for the team to know, how many families are you serving, and what is the size of your team? When you say small, what's that mean?
Yeah, so we served 182 families in 2020. And we, 3 others besides me, 1 licensed loan officer and 2 that are not licensed, 1 kind of more in a marketing function. So
one other like fully licensed loan officer, 1 marketing assistant, and then 1 like loan production
utility partner. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And any big takeaways so far for you, or what has been most valuable for you so far?
So the few things that out of the week 1 module, I really love the interviews with folks that we did. That was a really good exercise to talk to people of different generations. And I found that I'm get more out of this program than just leading my team. First of all, it's going to be about being a leader in the community. It's going to be about being a better mother, and it's about serving my clients better. So one of the big takeaways from that week was about the communication that I have with my clients. I'm big on templates and trying to just, systematize things, and always trying to figure out how to address them all at one time. So that really gave me some ideas of, I really need to make sure that I'm hitting the different generations and building in versatility into my communications. So that was one of the big takeaways from week 1. And then the week 2 one, we all know to lead by example, but I think he gave some really tangible ideas and ways in which to execute that between that and the Q&A. So I found that, we've already done some great things as far as I know that I've caught myself doing things and then saying something else. And I've been more self-aware of that after that conversation, even though, as I said, it's a basic thing that we all know and hear, but just the self-awareness is greater as a result of that conversation. And the one thing somebody said that really hit home was sometimes we are forced into leadership, right? We don't always want to be a leader, but we have to be a leader. And we're kind of looking to see where else to go. But, we have the answers within us. We've gotten to the stages that we have. So if I just look back at myself and my success, I can probably find the answers and not always need to look externally for it.
I love that. So one thing for you and then one thing for Brian, because you guys went, after we all go through with our why, big takeaways, I'm going to have each one of you guys ask the group a question. So Brian and PQ be thinking like, after we do this, I'm going to go to everyone and say, hey, what's your question for the group? So I'm not the one facilitating everything. You guys are facilitating it. But guys, we had but Michelle Town join us. What's up, Michelle? You're
Hi
on
guys,
mute.
sorry, I had a file blowing up and I had to take it. I apologize for being late. I was like, no, we're gonna talk about the hero's journey. Nice to see everybody.
Yeah. So guys, for me, Michelle Town is someone I've interviewed multiple times. She's a mortgage coach, red belt, done over 1,000 TCAs. When we did the mortgage coach, Darren Hardy, Insane Productivity, like our mastermind group came from that, and Michelle signed up for that. And then she became a leader of that. And actually she's been on at least, interviewed and been a co-leader on that mastermind group. So she's a big deal in the mortgage coach community, and she's a monster team leader. Michelle, tell everybody where you're at, what your production is and your team, and then why did you do this program?
Our production last year, we had great. It's my sister and I that originate. She handles Colorado. I handle California, and we closed. We helped 381 families at 177 million. So it was a really good year for us. It was by far my best year. This year, we're probably on track to do the same, assuming rates stay like they are right now. And the reason why I'm so busy right now is the reason why I wanted to do the Hero program, because I lost, I don't know about you guys, but I've been going 18-hour days since March. So I'm exhausted. And towards December, I was starting to get a little grumpy, and I had to revisit what my why was. And I went through Darren's program. I actually did his program, and he helped me identify who my client was. And it was one of the hardest things for me to do, because I was like, well, what do you mean who my client is? My client is the guy who calls me and I do a loan for. And it's not. My client is the person who refers me. So when I was able to define that, and my team was able to, we really worked hard on making sure our customer service was phenomenal. And, last year we got so busy, we lost a little bit of sight of that. We didn't have time to call people. I know I'm preaching to the choir here. So that is why I saw that, and I go, hey, I gotta go back and, regenerate and rejuvenate myself, and remember why I'm doing this. And the reason why I have a 70% conversion rate with my past clients. That's super high. So, and they wait for me. So I'll say, I'm sorry, it's a week before I can get back to you and give you a quote. And they're like, that's okay, we'll wait. So when you have somebody that wants to do that, I go, oh, I need to go find me again. That's why I started this hero's journey. The hero's journey was really to remember that I'm kind of the hero in the program too. And I had forgotten that, because, as high touch people, we're all type A personalities, can't help it to be in this business. You have to be. We had to realize, I don't know about you, but every time I was 2 days or 3 days behind on my emails, or 3 days behind on returning phone calls, I was a failure. And so I was constantly got this failure. And then me going, wait, I'm doing a really good job. So I had to find that balance. And I was hoping that this program would help me complete the balance. So that's all.
And any takeaways so far that have just been real notable, or things that you've gotten from the 2 or 3 sessions that you've done?
So for me, the most notability is, again, remembering that although I may be great at some things, I'm not great at all things, which I think module 2 really hit on a lot. And that was kind of a big takeaway. I actually enjoyed the live meeting yesterday because one of the people asked the question I would have asked. And I think it was about, hey, how do I, I want to be this great person to everybody, but I can't. So how do we make sure that we spotlight with our family, our friends, and do that? So that's what I've taken away.
Love it. Love it. Well, good seeing you, Michelle. I'm looking for, thanks for being here. And we got to get you on the Friday Mastermind as a leader sometime soon. So Dawn, you want to go next?
Yes. So I watched the preview of the hero's journey when it was sent out in the early release for trying to drive people to sign up. And the moment that Darren Hardy said that this is the first time in the history of the workplace where there are 5 generations in the workplace, and do you know how to influence, lead, or just have a relationship with them? I was in from that moment. It just made a huge difference to me. For me, because I work for a mortgage coach, I'm not dealing with borrowers, but it's really about, we have a very diverse group of employees that are, all sorts of spectrums of the 5 generations. And so that was one of my whys. And then the other why is that when I'm dealing with lenders and I'm, some days I'm talking to the executive that's been in the industry for 35 years. And then I'm dealing with the head of IT who is just a young gun and he's, all that with technology. Just how do I adapt my influence and my leadership skills in a sales process? So that was my why.
Love it, Dawn. And any takeaways so far?
Yeah,
Anything
I
that
had a
certainly
freak out
jumped out?
moment. My freak out moment when Darren's going through the influence, the stages of our children as they grow and those formative years, how they're looking and they're watching, they're seeing and modeling. And when I'm coming out with one thing out of this side of my mouth and then something else, the actions that I had. And then that point where I've lost influence, that was like a freak out moment. So I can't wait to see what Darren has to say about how do I recoup now? How do I go back and rebuild some of those things? And it actually has happened with family and friends and peers in the industry, that same thing. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Right on, Don. Thanks. And remember, guys, be thinking of what question are you going to ask the group here as we go around in a minute. Tim Lamb, what you got?
Hello, all. Pleasure to meet everybody here. This came from Dave Savage for me. I had no idea the hero's journey was even existed. I've been exposed to Darren Hardy. So Dave sent me a text one day and just said, hey, would you be interested in this? And I checked it out and I said, Dave, if you're in, I'm in, let's do this. And it was weird, the timing of it, because I was reflecting on 2020. And as Michelle said, I had let so many people down in 2020 that I felt bad. Like I wasn't being the person that I needed to be because I couldn't get back to them fast enough and I couldn't help as many people as I wanted to. And that frustrated me. So as my evaluation of 2020 was happening, I was like, there's more for me to do in this world than what I'm doing currently. There's a bigger purpose for Tim Lamb. And I came down to 2 things that I needed to improve on, which was number 1, my leadership. And number 2, my influence. So the timing was perfect for when Dave sent me that text message and said, hey, do you want to do this? I'm like, I was looking for a leadership plan or a purpose or a training or something. And then it landed in my lap. And then I've been following Ray Rodriguez. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Ray, for his Amplify presentation. So those are the 2 things that I'm going to tackle this year to do because I feel like there's more for me to do. And the leadership piece, the influence piece is really, really where I need to be.
Yeah, well, and I will tell you, Renee is killing it. I went through the program multiple times last year and I've referred dozens. I mean, I think over 25 people that I've referred have been through it. And this is the Darren Hardy thing, but I mean, the testimonials that are coming back are amazing. So keep it on your list, but let's rock this out. Have you had a big takeaway that so far from what you've done that's been like, whoa, that really stuck?
So first of all, I forgot to tell everybody, in 2020, I helped 284 families get into a mortgage. And the team is myself, and I have a transaction coordinator, a fancy processor, essentially. So did a bunch of volume with a very, very small team last year. So
Well, wait, time out before you do that. And he works for just an awesome credit union in Iowa. What is the name of your company?
Collins Community Credit Union, local credit union that handles the eastern side of our state.
Yeah, it just gives back. I mean, this is a guy, if I had a family member getting a loan in Iowa, I would be giving him to Tim. No offense to anyone listening to this, but he's just like a good human being, a mortgage advisor, just does it right. And then you're also are you leading a branch, or are you doing personal production?
Just personal production for me.
Okay, cool. Well, I think you covered that. Be ready for a question for everybody. And then Katie, what's that?
Oh, well, thanks for allowing me. Actually, part of the reason I signed up is because of this group. So you guys all have a lot of pressure. I hope that's the reason that I actually joined, because I listen to Darren, the Darren Daily that come in every morning. I'm a bit of a Darren Hardy groupie. And I don't have a team. I haven't run a team for a long time, but I've been in leadership roles over the last 15 years on both the real estate side and the mortgage side. And I do some public speaking and events. So I know that I get people that follow me. So I'm kind of doing this in reverse around. My takeaway was about that you're always being watched, right? And so I do leadership in my church. I do leadership in real estate and mortgage, and so that I'm being watched. So that's even just walking down the street in my community, what I post online. And then I have a 17-year-old son that's at home. He's the last of my kids that will be flying the coop soon enough. And so it's to Don's point, it was like, oh my gosh, I wish I'd have known some of these things about the teenagers with my older kids. I had some of that too, but just very much, I wanted to go through this process of the hero journey. I must have watched the previews and went through the stuff, and I'm like, I don't know that I want to do this on my own. And then when Dave says, oh, I'm getting a mastermind together, I'm like, I'm in. I was on the fence before, but then you guys all getting together really made it powerful for me that we could share ideas, we can challenge each other, that we can push through some things to go from there. So I think it's the reason I joined is because of you guys, and because of this mastermind group getting together and being able to share and collaborate. So I'm really, really excited for this first meeting. So thank you all for making time, because it is a huge value for me personally to be a part of this group, to be able to share this hero's journey. And then I love professional development. I'm kind of sort of a junkie when it comes to professional development. And I haven't really done a leadership development program in a couple of years. And so I'm really excited to be going through all this program with you guys through the year. So it's going to be fun.
Cool. Any takeaways so far from the session?
The takeaways for me are, for one, I liked the generational stuff. That some of it I had known, but getting deeper in that was cool. But the whole, you're always being watched, right? That whether you're being watched on what you do with my own family, with my kids, with my friends, is the audio matching the video, right? Is what you say and what you do in alignment. And that's even on the street, that, I'm just thinking about being in my community. I'm active with my church. I actually do a Zoom event with my priest every other week. And we do an online show that frankly is silly, but people like it. And people stop me on the street that they know me and I don't know them. Right. And so it's like, no more dancing on the tables for me, I guess. But it's the idea that, you don't know who's watching you. You don't know, as a leader in the community, as a leader in your home, as a leader in your organization, you're being watched. And leading by example means that you're kind of always on, and making sure that I think I liked, you guys, I think somebody in here mentioned something about the thought process around it. And what I liked, I think Michelle said, who was my client, right? And I liked that sort of mindset as well, of thinking about the thought processes as what it means to be a leader. So I think it's pretty cool.
Love it. And then I see someone who doesn't have a camera on. It's a phone number 303. Who is the phone? All right. Well,
hi, Dave. That's probably me. This is Jared Hamilton in Denver, Colorado.
What's up, Jared?
Hey, how are you? I'm actually traveling back from, we had our awards trip. And so I'm not at a place where I could really do a video.
No problem.
Call, so I apologize for that.
Don't apologize. Just tell everybody a little bit about your mortgage practice and why you signed up for this program.
Yeah. So my mortgage, I run a small little team as well as it's myself, and I've got an associate mortgage advisor, a LOA, and a transaction coordinator, and my daughter actually, who just graduated college, just kind of recently joined my team as well. So she's kind of coming in, but it's a brand new role, and she's just getting her feet wet. But I joined this program pretty last minute. I think it was the last day to sign up when I got your text, Dave, and I don't know a whole lot of, and I guess I forgot to say on my practice, we helped we helped 235 families for about 97 million. So this year, which was also probably like everybody in the business, my best year in the business. So, but I did join Hero's Journey kind of late, and Todd Bookspan was my coach, and I was part of Building Champions and doing the Masters coach, and so I knew Todd Bookspan well, and I know how much he loved Darren Hardy's stuff, and I think he was part of the group that did it with you. I can't remember what that you mentioned it earlier.
Insane productivity. Were you part of that?
And
did you join?
I was not. No, but Todd told me how much he enjoyed it and how wonderful that was. And so again, not knowing a lot about Darren Hardy stuff, I just wanted to jump in and experience it. So I want to be a better leader of my team, especially coming out of the year that we all came out of, where we are a little bit more disconnected, and we're not together every day, and also because my daughter is joining my practice, and there's a chance for her to take that over in the years to come. I wanted to make sure that I was just being the best leader, not only for my team, but for her, and building something that she could take into the future. I have not attended any of Darren's things yet, so I can't actually speak to what has really impacted me so far, just because I joined so late, I already had things scheduled during those times that I had to readjust. So I'm going to be diving into that heavily next week and kind of catching up, and I'll be all up to speed here shortly.
Awesome. Well, for everyone who's on the call live, you are introduced. For anyone listening to the recording, when you show up for the next one, I'm going to make you do your introduction, just so the 12 to 15 people that are part of this mastermind, you guys all know each other and why you guys got into the program. I do want to encourage you, I'll be really proud of this, call it the mastermind piece, if one, you guys all go through the program, because we've all signed up for programs that we didn't finish. And so let's sign up for the program, let's finish it. And literally, I'm looking for 100%, we all actually consumed the content and went through it. And then most importantly, I hope I create a few lifetime friends. And that means you guys need to who's your vibe and energy, and someone you want to connect with outside of this, to be an accountability partner with each other or to ask each other questions. So it's, I do hope if you're listening to this, connect with each other. You all have each other's email addresses because you're all in the same invite, and, you can connect with each other on social media. You can like each other's stuff on social media, become kind of a tribe within a tribe. There's the mortgage coach community and tribe, but this is the Hero's Journey tribe. And my hope is that by the end of the year, it's hundreds of loan officers that are elevating themselves and serving families better. And then the best thing of all, I've heard you guys all talk, it's okay, I want to be a better loan officer. I want to do better at mortgage coach. I want to be a better parent. I want to be a better leader at my church. So cool. So Brian, you got a question for the crew?
We have lots of questions. The one that I've been thinking about for this group as I was listening to everybody is kind of heard everybody's why, which I always think's very cool because then you have an idea of why you joined the program. But it kind of ties in what you said, Dave, is that commitment to finish it. We've all seen that where, we start and we don't finish it. What are you hoping at the end you will have gotten out of this and that success metric that maybe you use to evaluate this was worth your time? Because it is going to be some 100 hours potentially, right? In here. What are you hoping to take out of this at the end of the journey?
And real quick, guys, before we all go around, knowing that we've got 6, 7, 8 people, and I don't expect everybody to get to ask their question, but try to net it out in a minute. Everybody, don't, give us a minute why. And then Brian, you call roll. Like, who do you want to do it first?
Cool.
I'll go first, Brian, if you don't mind.
Let's do it.
My personal goal is I've got a serious problem with this imposter syndrome that I'm not good enough and I can't take that next step. So I want to be able to have this be the catalyst for me to say, yep, you are good enough. You have the skills and ability, and to take that next step in the leadership role. And there was one thing that I wrote down in the notes from Darren Hardy. He said, either you're playing chess or you're playing checkers. And I want to be able to play chess and not the checkers piece of it. I think I've gotten really good at doing the wrong things in this industry, and I want to take this piece to elevate me into my next career, into my next opportunity in the growth pattern.
Love it. Love it. I'm going to write that down. I'm sure we can listen back to the recording, but I think, Tim, you're spot on. Dawn, how about you? We'll kind of go around what my view looks like at least, and we'll make our way through.
All right. For me, it's about influence in our larger world. I think that today's society calls upon so many of us to be looked at and to have a level of influence with those around us. And there aren't a lot of that, whether it's in your small community, your larger community, whether it's on the, the emails that I post, when I'm consoling a friend or building a friend up, just how can I lead at a larger level, whether it's about, global warming and climate change, just things like that.
Love it. Love it. I've heard that from several people, is that expanding your leadership and influence out in the community, which is awesome. Pinky, how about you?
So it's a great question, by the way, Brian, one that I had not thought of before. So I'm glad you asked it. I want to be a better listener. So I want to really be able to know that I am fully understanding when people tell me, and I'm processing it and taking action accordingly. And I'm not sure how to measure this, but I can't make it a SMART goal yet, but that's one of the key things that I want to do. And then secondly, as Dawn just said, really know that I'm able to influence not just at work, but clients and family and friends and community, because that's a big part of who I am. So that would be really important.
I love it. And let's make sure we connect offline. I had someone share something with me around engagement and connection today, and it was specifically through video and something. So I'll share. There's a potential way to measure it that we'll be able to do.
Thank you.
We might want to know about that, dude. Like, let's see how fast you could go around the room, but I don't know if we want to let you hold out on how to measure if you're listening well.
We'll hold out for it. I want to hear the others, if that's okay. Okay. Katie, how about you?
It's interesting. Both Darren Hardy and I are the same age, and we both turned 50 this year. And so for me, success is that I have a very clear vision. I think Tim talked about the next step. So my 50 to 60 plan. What does that look like? And be really, really clear, not only of what that plan is, but that confidence to make it happen.
Love it. Capital C with the confidence. I feel it. It's coming in. Michelle, how about you?
Well, I'm gonna go with the G's today, and it's gonna be grace, gratitude, and growth. I really want to learn to be graceful, not only to my team, but to my people. To my team, and also to the clients that I serve. Gratitude in the fact that I am so thankful that I have a job right now, and I have to always remind myself when I get that busy. There's a lot of people that are suffering, and growth in the fact that I wrote this down: leadership influence in your 5 generations. We don't only have 5 generations in our office. We have 5 generations of people we're speaking to. And I have to be honest with you, the people that text me, I used to not text at all. Now I'm like the queen texter. And I actually prefer text now than taking a phone call. It's so bad because I don't have time to talk to them. But when I get on the phone, I usually love them. So I'm going to go with grace, gratitude, and growth, and just really understanding and continuing where I get my feedback. I have to remind myself where I get my bucket filled is by giving back to my community. I don't get my bucket filled by money. I don't get my bucket filled by closing loans. I get my bucket filled by giving back to my community.
That's your 4th G.
Giving back, I love it.
The
I
four
love that.
Gs.
Man, that's cool. And, I'll plug this in. I was talking to somebody earlier that it was interesting. Most highly successful people we've all been around in our life, there's that desire in us to give back. And so I think that's going to, most of you share like I think that's going to be a core fabric. Dave, how about you, my friend?
I didn't know I was going to get asked the question. I love that. So I mean, it starts with the why I did it. My goal is to help be a better leader myself and help grow leadership in others and build a community of leaders. And so I feel after the end of the course that I have tactics in ways to do that. And I also hope I have a way of measuring that, because it's more of I'm clear on, I want to add more members of Mortgage Coach when I get to 20,000. It has always been my goal to get to 2 million TCAs a year. And we hit 1.7 last year, viewed 5.5 million times. But I want to be clear on, that, like, what does it mean to grow leadership in the mortgage industry, in the Mortgage Coach community? So that's what I feel like I got at the end of it. And then I hope that this little test group is like, wow, everybody is rating the program a 10 or 11, you got transformational value, and we have this snowball rolling down the hill. We build a community of hundreds of loan officers. So that's what I want.
Love it. I don't want to leave out, was it Charlie or what? I'm trying to remember, 303.
Yeah, the 303. It's Jared, actually.
Jared.
So yeah, and I apologize again for not having my name up there and being on screen, but I'm more of the P's, I guess. We've had our G's, and I want to be a more proactive, a more purposeful, and a more present leader. Again, we've just been reacting to so much business and reacting to our clients' needs and doing a really good job about that or with that. But I really want to be building in systems, moving forward to where I'm, making sure to be checking in, with my team and how they're doing and listening to them and inspiring them to be, building the business with or without me, in essence. And so I really need to build those things into my daily and monthly and yearly activities.
Super awesome. I love the P's and the G's. So did we get through everybody, Brian? Do you feel good on your question and you got all the answers you wanted? Anything you want to close out on that?
Now I know more. I mean, this is pretty cool. That part right there for me was the connection I wanted with people, so I can leave and know from here, so I can be part of their journey too, right? Of each of your journey. That's what I'd say. Yeah, Dave, that was awesome.
Did you say
Cool.
yours?
Hey, Brian, you didn't say yours.
Yeah,
Oh,
what's yours?
yeah. So
yeah.
this year, one of my big goals I'm hoping to take out of this is the information I take. We've got 3 new leaders on our team, and I've got 3 others that I'm intentionally mentoring on our team. 2 I'd like to have promoted, right, and grow and scale and learn how to attract the right talent and the right people, as they've often attracted and just hired in our industry. And so building out our team and scaling it, we've got a big volume number goal, but I think at the end of the year, if I look up and we retain all of our leaders, I promote these 2 that I'm intentionally working with, then I've got 3 that are new. If I look up in a year and I can see they've attracted the right people, they recruited, they've hit their goals, I'm gonna feel like this program aided me in that, right? So can't do it on your own. That would be success for me.
And is Sean the other, he's not here right now, but he's someone that signed up with you. Is Sean one of the leaders you're trying to mentor?
Yeah, he is. And to move to that next level in his career, and he's expressed that. And I couldn't be happier, because in our industry, too often people, I feel, have had to leave companies and leave organizations that may have been good for them to find more growth opportunity. And so I've just been, let's flip that on its head and let's create opportunities for people. So he's one of them.
Yeah, hey, guys, he'll probably be at one of these. He's a Mortgage Coach Red Belt. He's one of the top creators of Total Cost Analysis and all of Loan Depot. And he did a lot of, he did over 100 million last year, didn't he?
Right at 101. Yeah.
101. And
Just in
congratulations, Sean. Looking forward to having you on an upcoming call. Hey, one insight I wanted to pull on the, Michelle, when you brought back giving, building communities of giving. When I interviewed Sean Banashian, #1 loan officer in the country, closed 3,500 loans last year. That means he had to generate over 6,000 leads, probably closer to 10,000. And I asked him, like, what's your biz dev strategy? And the takeaway was giving back to my community. And, and he's built, like, if anybody knows him in the markets of Boston that he owns it, like he is the biggest brand in those markets, and he's always giving back. And he's always, there's a whole biz dev strategy for mortgage professionals listening to this by being a leader in your community, having influence in your community, like everything that you've heard, applying that to your community, and you could close 300 loans a year and live your dreams. So cool. So Pinky, what's a question you have for everybody?
So my question is, what is the first action that you are planning to take or have already taken from your learning so far? I guess I'll go around the room, Dave. So Dawn, go ahead. Start with you.
All right. Yeah. So it's really about studying the generations and taking what I learned in those generation conversations and trying to incorporate that into the way that I communicate with different team members at Mortgage Coach, and then different team members that in my community.
Nice. Thank you. Tim?
Except it doesn't work in my mom.
Two things for me. Doing what Brian said at the beginning, actually finishing a dang program that I signed up for and only got 25% through. I don't know how many books that I have on my shelf where there's a bookmark in there at 25% through the book. So finishing the program is #1 for me. And then #2, I block Saturday mornings, first thing in the morning, to rewatch the session. Because I think the more that I can put that information into my head, the more that I'm going to retain it. So those two things, finish, and then Saturday mornings.
That's great.
And Dave, you did a good job in ensuring that we all finished by putting this together, by the way. So there's a whole lot of accountability here. Katie, you want to go next?
Let's see. Actually, the one that hit home most recently was around getting to know my kids' friends better. And my son is a senior, and actually yesterday he called me. He was out with one of his buddies, and I was like, why don't you come over to the house and I'll make you guys lunch. So I was able to spend time with him and his friend, and just, they're baseball players, and we talked baseball. And so it just like, okay, this is really important, not only for him, but for me, to make sure that I'm connected with that social group that, Darren kind of hit me over the head about how important that social group is for teenagers. And I kind of forgot what it was like to be a teenager. So, and so that was something that I was like very purposeful that I did it yesterday, making sure that they would come over to the house, right, and do that. So just being a little bit more aware of just that kind of environment, not only for my kids, but then it makes me think about who are the 5 people that I'm surrounding myself with, right? And so you guys are now in that bucket. So I'm really excited because this is a pretty cool bucket to be swimming with. So I'm excited.
Thank you. Nice. Michelle?
So at the end of module 2, module 2 really hit home for me. Module 1 was kind of like informational for me. Module 2 is where it started getting emotional for me. And that's when I connect. So I connect when it becomes emotional. I don't connect when it's like data is great, but emotion makes me actually react. So at the end of number 2, I think I wanted, if I would have been sad or exhausted, I probably would have tried or cried, because when you think about the one person who thinks that they're not worthy. So one of his action things at the end of module 2 was, who are you going to pick that thinks that they're not worthy, and make them feel worthy? And that, it brought me back to such childhood things where you always felt you were less than. I can't remember, one of us said that, or Tim, I think it was you that said that you want to be an imposter. Every single one of us has felt like an imposter before. I feel like an imposter at least once a week, like, oh, I'm just, faking it till I make it, but I was like, okay, what's that one person on my team that feels like they're not pulling their weight, or that they're an imposter, they're not important. So I picked that person this week and I made them realize how important they were. It was gratifying to me, very gratifying. And I'm going to do that also in my personal life. I have a young 20-year-old autistic, my sister's nephew moved in with me, and he's autistic. And so I really try to spend time with him. Because he's always like, you're always on the phone, you're always on the working, you're always doing this. And I, you hear that over and over, you go, ooh, I need to get, and so my commitment is getting back to my 5 to 7 o'clock is family time. I don't care who's calling. You don't get my attention during that time.
Oh, it's really nice, Michelle. Nice work. Thank you for sharing. Brian?
Piggyback on what Tim was saying, you just gave me an idea. One for me was I had to take, if you guys probably had the same, the calendar that synced is not my calendar that I use. And so I had to sync and get it on my calendar at work. Because what I realized this week is I messed up. I didn't have it on my work calendar. And so people scheduled stuff over it. It was important. And so for me is having that on there, because if I can block it out. And so we've added that as a series. And Tim, you gave me an idea. Is Sunday nights, I do this little planning ritual and routine of looking at my week and looking at where things are. And so I'm gonna start using that time a little bit too, just to pull back what we learned. Like you said, just another dose of what the takeaways were, just to make sure if I missed anything or if I need to recoup. So those are my two. I think those are gonna help me. And I know where my pitfalls will be, and those will be two of them.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you. Jared, I know you said you didn't watch the content, but maybe as a result of what you got out of this session here?
Yeah, well, and even though, since I haven't seen, the content as of yet, I have gleaned a whole lot about what this has been, what you guys have learned so far. But what I do want to let you know is that I am 100% committed. And, it sounds like Darren was talking about how people sign up for something, they, don't finish it through. But I was debating whether or not, because I had not listened to the content so far, whether I should be here today. But I do, I wanted to be here just to throw it out there, let you know I'm 100% committed, and making sure I'm going to be diving in and getting as much from this as possible. So the thing I just want you guys all to know is that I'll be diving in and giving back as much as I possibly can.
Thanks, Jared. Awesome. Dave?
My takeaway is just like what a badass Darren Hardy is at creating amazing content. I've got a son who's going to Syracuse University, and I know what a textbook costs, and I know like how good they are or how good they're not. And I'm like, wow, this is a amazing textbook. And like, this is what training is, I create a lot of content, but I don't think we create a lot of training content. So it was pretty humble for me to think of the amount of hours that he spent, the amount of time and love to like put this program. I mean, it's amazing. And then I've got the facilitators edition. So, I've got like how to facilitate something like this. So, I mean, to me, those have been the biggest takeaways. And then it also, in full disclosure, I've done the first one, but I haven't done the other two. And so I've got to catch up. So that way, now it's been another thing is I've filled my bucket so full with creating content for Mortgage Coach. I've got this guy that I'm interviewing. He's a former Navy SEAL. And I felt like I had to listen to his book to do the interview. And another turning is I've got to say no to more things, and I've got to get better at what I'm going to commit to. So the fact that I'm leading this thing and I'm not ahead of it and I haven't done it all, that humbleness, like I've got to say no to things. I am saying yes to this. And so I'll be caught up by next time, but that's been pretty intense learning for me.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for sharing. That helped me like get ideas of how to execute too. So appreciate you all sharing.
All right. So here's what we're going to do, because we're not going to have time for everybody to ask this question.
But Dave,
And
Pinky didn't share
Yeah,
hers.
Pinky didn't go.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, boom.
thank you,
Let's at
Michelle.
least-
Call me
let's-
up.
yeah. Thank you, Michelle.
That's what we're here for.
So Michelle, I did something similar to you already too, where I used an opportunity to help somebody on the team who said, I don't have confidence in myself and I'm not sure if I can do that, if I can take that on. And I used, that learning of as a leader, we're taking ordinary people and helping them be extraordinary, or what they think is ordinary, by the way, right? Not that they really are, but helping them have that confidence. So I actually did something else that was, as you said, just so rewarding to be a part of seeing the change in her face, even if it was via Zoom, when we had that conversation and just the reflection on that. I did that. And I also started doing, my next plan is to do something similar with my children. So that's my plan. Thank you.
Cool. Well, so guys, we got 9 minutes, and I do want to keep these tight just because we got a lot of busy people committing to the program, committing to this mastermind. I remember, if you guys want to talk afterwards, you can connect. You all have Zoom accounts and you can mastermind afterwards. If people want to come to half of this and then leave, I want to, whether you listen to the recording, like if you want to come in and leave, just come and let's all get through this thing together. Also, if anybody has idea like, hey, Dave, here's a suggestion for the next one. I'm going to pretty much move it to the same time next week. Any objections from anybody on the call if I just move this one and just do the same time next week? I mean, I'll create a new Zoom link so there's a recording. So remember, guys, this will be on our YouTube channel. For people that are listening to this, that you are not part of the Darren Hardy Heroes Journey program, everybody on this call paid thousands of dollars to be part of this program, and it's not available. You cannot sign up right now. He is going to make it available probably multiple times throughout the year. And next time he makes it available, I'll make everybody in the mortgage coach community aware of it. Hopefully I'll have a special discount beyond, like when Darren sells things, he provides like, you buy it now, you get a discount. But usually I get something beyond that for the mortgage coach community. So if you're listening, that's what's going on here. Let's see. Tim, why don't you ask me a question? Let's see if we can get it knocked out in 7 minutes, everybody.
All right, so my question was, almost everyone on our panel here mentioned something about they're always watching. My kids, my team, my coworkers. My question is, what are you going to do differently as we now know that everyone's watching you?
Ooh.
Pinky, go first.
Good question. So what I'm doing differently is at home, I am putting my phone away a lot more because I'm always telling my kids to get off their phone and I need to be the example of that. So I'm definitely not keeping my phone around as much. And 2, at work, I'm always telling everyone to make sure they clear their tasks, but I have outstanding tasks. So I'm not being a good role model of making sure that I'm always clearing, in our CRM, my stuff. So I need to make sure that I'm being diligent about doing that.
Awesome, love that. Katie, how about you?
Well, it's actually something that I shared with on a call that Dave had when he interviewed Jonathan Roach, or what are we going to say no to? And one of the things that I am realizing is that I want to say no to multitasking, but really what that means is I want to be present. So putting my phone on do not disturb when I'm in a meeting, like, Pinky said, when when I'm having breakfast with my son or having lunch with a friend, that there's no distractions. I'm really listening and being fully present and not distracted or creating any sort of things, but being really focused on the conversation, the people, the work, because I will jump around even on work tasks, like, oh, wait, there's things, squirrel, right? So it's being present of right now I'm focusing on this task and then I can move to the next task versus jumping around. So being present.
That sounds good. Thank you for sharing. Dawn?
I think Pinky said the one that I'm most focused on. In our CRM, we have the same thing. We're very big on assigning tasks and trying to get those tasks completed. And I monitor task resolution for the people that work with me. But I'm not always good at managing my own tasks. So that's my takeaway. Katie, don't be looking at my dashboard.
All right, I promise.
Great. Thanks for sharing. Brian, you.
So today was an interesting day. I had my assistant of 5 years, and Dave met Ashley. She had about a month ago let me know she's going to work for a local nonprofit, amazing gig and all that. So today interviewed 2 potential assistants, which are the right hand. And so for me, I learned in the last month, I can't do it by myself. I tried to do some of this and I'm like, man, I am way over and I'm losing family time. I'm losing sleep, all that. So I interviewed 2 today, and just to be smarter about letting go, because probably all of us have a little bit of that controlling. I know I do a lot. And so letting go of some things this year so I can create space for family time. And one of those is our middle child is, on Tuesday nights, we've kind of got an event set up. He loves a particular restaurant here locally. So we're trying to go every other Tuesday just so we get one-on-one time, because it's very hard to get that with all 3 of my kids. And so just planning some of that out. And I think the assistant's going to be a big piece, but then too, just being more intentional with where my time is placed. And Dave, you said, I think just say no to some stuff, man. I've said yes to a lot of stuff, being the nice guy. And this year I'm gonna have to rein in some things just to say that's a no for now.
Love it. Appreciate it, Brian. All right, Michelle Town.
Oh, Brian, you took mine. No is my favorite word now. So Catholic child, middle child syndrome. I want to people please. I want to please everybody. Can't do it in this business. So learning to let go. And I'll tell you, probably a breakthrough in my career was firing my first high-end realtor. Oh, it was so great, but the amount of damage she was doing to me and to the team was so bad. And when we let her go, I remember her saying, she goes, "You're firing me?" And I go, "No, I'm just asking you to find somebody that better suits your needs, because I don't think I suit them anymore." So saying no. And then I, like Brian, we have Thursday night birthday pizza night. I'm here in Colorado right now. So we have Thursday night birthday pizza night, and we have Friday night movie night. There is nothing that comes in between those 2 things, period. So no, I like it.
Love it. Saying no. All right, who did I miss? I know there's a couple that I missed. I can't see everybody on my screen for some reason.
Charlie?
Yeah, go ahead. No, okay, well, I'll go. This is Jared on the phone. And so mine is asking more questions and asking better questions. And I found in order to, because I'm trying to be efficient, I'll maybe make assumptions and jump to conclusions, and many times, be spending more time on not the right problem. And so if I ask more questions, I can really understand not only my clients better, but also my team members, what their challenges are, and if they're seem stressed, not just assume it's maybe a part of the business, but find out if something's going on at home, and if there's anything that I can step in to and help with, we can get into a better place. So it's just going to be asking more questions and digging deeper in order to get to the root of what's going on.
Love it. I think that's a great takeaway for all of us. I think, and I think, Dave, you said it many times, the better questions that you ask in your life, the deeper connections you're going to have, which allows you to be more present and have that connection and that relationship, which all of us had just talked about: being present, saying no, getting the right time, giving that time to the right people, and then asking those questions while we're present, doing single tasking would be a win for all of us, I think, this year. So thank you very much, guys, for sharing.
All right, and I'll close out and then we'll wrap it up, guys. So my thing is I'm writing more. Like I actually haven't used a pen and written and documented for over a decade. Because I'm pretty fast typer, and I love the keyboard. I love technology. It's got spell check. But knowing that I was going to be facilitating this and trying to just improve, being a better leader and improving leaderships, I've been just writing more, and it's made me more intentional. So anyways, that's that. So guys, we're going to do this again, same time next week. My ask to everybody is come prepared to net out. Like my big takeaway was boom, boom. I I do like this idea of you guys asking each other questions.
Mhm.
So I'd ask everybody to show up, whether we have time to get to everybody's question, but come up with like, I have a question for everyone next week. And if you're really passionate, like whether you're listening to the recording or you're on this, like I want to get my questions answered, let me know that so I can make sure you get, like Michelle, you didn't get to ask everybody a question. And remember guys, we can use chat here. Remember everybody, you can email each other, get each other's mobile numbers, become friends, you know, and help each other finish the class, get value from the class, and accomplish all your goals. With that said, guys, just to honor everybody's time, I'm going to wrap it up. Did everybody get value from this? Did it meet
Oh,
your
yeah.
expectations?
Absolutely. Thank you for including me. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you,
perfect.
everybody. Take care, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.